All right, the main story for Truman is early Cold War. All right, let's go with things like fair deal. What is the fair deal?
New Deal.
Pardon me?
Was it New Deal service?
It's kind of like the New Deal, only with more civil rights thrown in. It's just there are not a ton of civil rights. Remember, Congress didn't like Truman, so Congress. So he had the fair deal was pretty much a bust. He had to concentrate more on foreign affairs because, well, because Congress, because you got the Cold War. I will go ahead and say that this is the era of loyalty review boards. What is loyalty review boards?
Where
Check to see if you're a communist.
Check to see if you're a communist. Yeah, you got to prove that you're not a commie. Let's go ahead and say that he is the National Security Act. And actually, you could probably put that in the Florida verse too. It's National Security Act of 47. What does the National Security Act do? It's the DoD, the NSC, and the CIA. What are those things?
That's NSA or NSC 68.
Yeah, NSC 68 is another thing we're about to put on here. The DoD is Department of Defense, National Security Council, and the Central Intelligence Agency.
Made in military as well.
Yeah, good. Well, it's these are things that control the military. All right, let's go with McCarran Internal Security Act. Do you know what that did?
No. McCarran, what act?
It's the McCarran Internal Security Act.
McCarran Committee investigated.
Yeah, the McCarran Committee investigated teachers. What did the Internal Security Act do? It's requiring the registration of communist officials, requiring registration for anybody that was, quote unquote, un-American, including, again, homosexuals were required to register with the government under the McCarran Security Act. 22nd Amendment, that's him. What's that one? Two terms. There you go. All right. 2 terms.
Oh, it's 2 twos. Okay.
Yeah, two terms. Yeah. All right, Taft-Hartley. Taft-Hartley Act. There's a lot of acts. All right. Again, this is a union thing. It outlawed closed shops. So again, it made it so that you couldn't refuse to hire somebody just because they're in a union, which is what a closed shop is.
What was it called?
It's called the Taft-Hartley Act. All right, let's jump over to foreign policy because there's more there.
Korean War.
Okay, good. First, what is the overarching thread that runs through the entire Cold War? Containment. It's all about containment. Good.
Was he also domino?
Yes, domino is a result of China. Correct.
Is this green containment?
Yes, good. It's green containment. Give me examples of green containment.
Truman Doctrine, Marshall
Okay,
Plan.
Marshall Plan. Truman Doctrine is actually first, so let's list that first. Truman Doctrine. And what is that? Greece and Turkey. Money to Greece and Turkey don't have a communist takeover. And then the Marshall Plan.
All of Europe.
All of Europe, correct. Also collective security. What is the big collective security agreement?
NATO.
Good. NATO versus what?
The Warsaw Pact.
Warsaw Pact. Good. All right. How about give me some good examples of containment? Give me containment success.
Oh my goodness.
Berlin.
Berlin. Good. Berlin airlift.
Airlift.
What is containment
China.
fail? China.
China.
All right, and then containment fail to China leads to what major theory?
Domino theory.
Domino theory. Good. For Truman, you want to know arms race because the Soviets exploded their atomic bomb in 1949, so kind of starts an arms race.
The Korean police action.
Oh, Korean. Yeah, good point. Korean War, aka police action.
Okay.
And again, that was a UN action, although it's primarily U.S. soldiers. Who is the The U.S. general that got fired because he wanted to use nukes. Good, yeah. Where did he want to use nukes on? Good. Yeah, no, we wanted to use nukes on China because China was supplying Korea. However, why can we not use nukes on China?
Mutually assured destruction.
Mutually assured destruction. That's a bad. You got collective security and mutually assured destruction. Bad idea. Oh, NSC 68. Sorry. We can put that under foreign. Doesn't matter. What does the NSC 68 say?
We need to beef up the military.
We need to spend a lot of money on the military. If containment's going to work, you're going to have to spend a lot of money on the military. Who was the guy, the American official in Soviet Union that pretty much came up with containment policy? Kennan. Yeah. I forgot his first name. I think it's George. Kennan. And that's that long telegram. Okay. For civil rights, again, we've got that executive order, which desegregated the military. You've also got Jackie Robinson. Jackie, I think he's hired in like 1947. All right, for society and culture, again, we're going to go with some Red Scare stuff. HUAC, what's that?
House of American Affairs.
Also, American Activities Committees starts investigating people like the Hollywood 10. Again, 10 guys in Hollywood that refuse to give up other names of supposed communists. As far as the Red Scare goes, this is when you really get the fear of spies. Who are the people that made everybody scared that they were the
Alger,
spy?
Hiss, and the
Hiss?
Rosenberg.
Good. Who's Hiss?
He was like
High-ranking government official.
Yeah, high-ranking State Department official accused by Whitaker Chambers. Okay,
Who's
so
the guy
his-
that was a nuclear.
no, Ted Hall was the nuclear
Okay.
physicist.
He was
Um,
later. That was.
Pardon me?
We didn't figure out about it until like afterwards, right? But it was during this time.
He didn't. He was investigated during this time, but he didn't actually admit to it until like that CNN interview that I showed you. And so Alfred Hiss, the Rosenbergs. Again, husband and wife spy team. This is the beginning of McCarthyism, although it really kind of goes all the way through Eisenhower. McCarthyism. Any demographic trends? Where do people live?
Suburbs.
Alright, you got white flight to suburbs. So you've got people, African Americans moving to cities, white flight to suburbs. And again, you got like there's still a lot of movement to the west. Movement west and north. Okay. I think we're gonna let Truman lie there. Is there anything else that you can think of that I forgot?
Wait, so the African Americans moved where?
North and west.
The
And you
African
said a
Americans
city?
did, or-
Well, no, sorry. There's movement, general movement over the west and the north.
And then where did you say the African Americans moved? Urban
Cities.
Urban cities. Yeah, urban cities. My bad.
Chicago.
Oh, hey, air conditioning. I forgot about it, but air conditioning is a huge movement in the 50s.
Like a Sunbelt, right?
Which is the thing that saved the South
From what? The heat?
from heat. Yeah. Tell me you don't like air conditioning. I didn't know that not all buildings are air conditioned. I'm online with a bunch of teachers in Detroit. They're like,
Oh yeah.
what? How hot's your classroom today? It got up to 85 degrees. I said, well, why didn't you turn on the AC? We don't have AC in our building.
Y'all have like
Yeah.
a teacher chat room?
Huh? Yeah.
You
That's
guys talk
cute.
about
Oh,
the
it's
weather?
the nerdiest thing. It's
That's
the
really
nerdiest
cute.
thing
Yeah.
you've ever seen.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's actually okay. Let's hop on down to Ike. What are we gonna put for Ike? For domestic policy?
Yeah.
Let's go with a highway system.
Pass.
Everything in the name of national security.
Yeah, everything in the name of national security, which is again the interstate highway system, which is done to evacuate, so we can have evacuation routes just in case the commies, drop a commie bomb. National Defense of Education Act. Oops. National Defense of Education. it's a reaction to Sputnik. And it provided more money for upgrading like sciences and foreign languages and math. It's again, that's part of you having to take more math and science because of Sputnik. Thanks, Sputnik.
God.
Can I move this
Soviets.
right there so
Pardon?
they can see it? It's like really hard to see.
Oh,
On
do
the-
I need to move?
No, no, like move this on your desk.
Okay, you can move it wherever. Just, you're the camera woman.
Okay.
Alright, you're not showing me because
Okay, I'm not.
ain't no one want to see me.
Alright, that's better.
Alright, for Eisenhower, what are we going to put for foreign policy on Eisenhower? Foreign policy buzzword.
What?
Okay, new look. Good. He's new look, aka massive retaliation. Thank you. Okay. Do you remember what that is? Yeah, we're not going to waste time with the regular military anymore. We're going to build up that nuclear arsenal so we can... Yeah, it is cheaper. All right. You should probably know John Foster Dulles, which is his Secretary of Defense. No, it's not. This is Secretary of State. My bad. John Foster Dulles. You know, like Dulles International Airport.
Remember him?
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah, he's, ardent anti-communist. Okay, he's kind of the guy that came up with the new look, the massive retaliation idea.
Wait, Dallas, is that in the end?
Huh? Dulles.
Dulles.
Dulles. John Foster Dulles. D-U-L-L-E-S. Yeah. Let's see. What else can we do? For foreign policy, let's go with Suez Canal crisis. Which is, again, where the Egyptian government nationalized the Suez Canal with backing from the Soviet Union. Britain and France freak out. It led to the Eisenhower Doctrine, which is what?
It extend the Truman Doctrine.
Yeah, it's the Truman Doctrine, only now in the Middle East. Which is, again, a little bit more important because why do we definitely need the Eisenhower Doctrine? Why do you do not want Middle Eastern countries to follow communism? Oil. Yeah, they got, if Middle Eastern countries get a hold of that oil, we are toast. All right, you also probably want to do for him covert operations. That's a big thing for him. So again, the willingness to use that CIA for things like Operation Ajax and I think Panama?
Ajax was Nicaragua or Guatemala?
One of them, with PB Success, and there's PB Success and there's Ajax, and I can never remember which one's which. You might want to look them up in the notes. PB Success, I want to say, is maybe,
Google it.
yeah, we can Google it, or we do have notes.
What was that last
It's like
one?
Google on paper, huh?
Google on paper.
Under Eisenhower Doctrine.
Covert operations. All right, let's go ahead and go with Geneva.
It's Guatemala.
Okay, Geneva Summit, which is kind of like a temporary thaw between the U.S. and USSR. Very temporary. The thing that ended the thaw would be the U-2 incident, which is what
One of our
Plane was like spying on Russia.
we may have caught spying on Russia, which we may or may not have been doing, but they were spying on us too, so shut up.
We didn't openly catch them.
1960, well, except for in Cuba. All right, speaking of Cuba, let's do Cuba. Yeah, this is when Castro overthrows Batista. So it's the communist overthrow. So Castro overthrows Batista.
Did you get my moto message, Miss Kim? Flashcards.
What about him?
But one of the flashcards says Batista.
Yeah, it says Batista overthrew Batista.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not right, though, because that can't happen. It's Castro overthrowing Batista, but thanks. I'll try and fix that today. Okay. Starts the embargo. I forget there's so much stuff under Eisenhower. How about Vietnam? Because there's some Vietnam stuff. It's just basically sending advisors. Eisenhower sent advisors to Vietnam. Here, I'm going to put that up here. Oh, gosh. What am I doing? I forgot about the farewell address. It's one of the most famous farewell addresses other than Washington.
Warning against the military.
Good, good. It's the warning against the military-industrial complex. Again, don't give too much power to your military-industrial complex because they will want to make war, which the good synthesis for is what?
NIDA committee.
Good. NIDA committee. Okay. Okay, so out of room.
Smells like cat food here.
Well, you're still sitting by the
Alright,
trash can.
alright.
Okay, let's look at civil rights under Eisenhower. This is kind of like the early civil rights movement, so we're going to go with Brown versus Board. Again, Eisenhower's take on that is, since it's not the federal government, it's up to who to enforce that. State governments go. It's a 10th Amendment thing. 10th Amendment goes to state governments have to enforce it. Also, under Eisenhower's reign, you have the Southern Manifesto. Hey, Del. Do you know what the Southern Manifesto was? We did talk about it. Southern Manifesto.
Southern people disagreed with some sort of desegregation thing, right?
Shocking. Yes, that would be.
Supreme Court.
No, that never happened.
Right.
Yeah, they were accusing the Supreme Court of being overly activist. Because again, in Brown versus Board of Education, the Supreme Court ordered state governments to desegregate with quote unquote all deliberate speed. So this is when Congress says, you can't do that, Supreme Court. You can't really order us to desegregate
Oh, yeah.
on account of separation of powers and stuff.
There's a whole bunch of like Southern congressmen that got together.
That's correct. Yeah, it's like 101 Southern congressmen. All right, somewhere around here, you have the Rosa Parks arrest. Rosa's arrest, which is 1955. You have the Little Rock Nine, 1957. You guys already know about those two. Yeah, the bus boycott would be in with Rosa's arrest. Buses. Okay. Is there anything major that I'm missing for civil rights in the 50s, guys?
57. There's a lot of stuff happening.
There's Little Rock 9. Oh, it's the SCLC forms.
Yeah.
SCLC forms in 50, I think late 50s. We'll go 57. Do you remember what is sort of the competing group? SNCC, good. Versus SNCC. What are the big differences?
SCLC is a bunch of Christian.
Yeah, pastors, white and black pastors. SNCC is colleges, white and black college students, but SNCC changes. SNCC goes from being white and black college students to being all black organization. SNCC also has the philosophical change away from nonviolence.
What's the one under the boycott?
I don't know.
Because it looks just like.
Little Rock 9.
Little Rock 9, yeah. It's LR9. Because I can't spell little. Leave me alone. All right. Okay, for society and culture. Okay, do you remember what is the book that says, hey, look, we're really rich in America? We got a lot of money? No, that's the one that talks about the poverty. In the affluent America. Good. Galbraith's The Affluent America. Because remember, in the 50s, it's all about our money. Because we got lots of it. Because we're the only industrialized country after World War II that is still making stuff. So, The Affluent America by John Kenneth Galbraith. Other big important books, let's go with. How about, okay. What is the main buzzword of the 50s? Conformity, good. Conformity. Okay, who are the people who are sort of like the backlash against 50s conformity? Beatniks, good. And again, what are they criticizing? Yeah, they're criticizing conformity. Oh, can anybody give me a good example of the conformity? Levittowns, good. I'm going to squeeze that in here under conformity. Levittowns. Little boxes. Again, little boxes is sort of a reaction against Levittowns. Also, what were teens called? Silent generation. Yeah, teens were known as the silent generation, which that's kind of the big deal about the Port Huron statement in the 60s, is they were saying, look, we're not going to be the silent generation anymore. We're actually going to use our voice. Okay, so we've got beatniks. Can you give me any good examples of beatniks?
Famous beatniks.
Huh?
Jack
Kerouac. Yeah, good. Jack Kerouac on the road. And again, beatniks are like early hippies.
How do you spell Kerouac?
I don't know.
You're asking.
K-E-R, yeah, it's funny that you guys asked me that. Kerouac?
I know
So
better.
I spell it phonetically. How do other people spell it? Well, I don't know. All right, so you got Jack Kerouac. Do you remember who the other beatnik was?
Howl, the guy who wrote Howl.
Howl, yeah, Howl, and it's Allen Ginsberg. Ginsberg's Howl, which is like the epic poem of the hating, I'm howling against society. This is also, oh, hey, let's put the rise of consumerism on there. Consumerism, TV. We're going to go solid cult of domesticity for women.
Didn't the highways have something to do with social conformity as well? Like,
It's white flag.
It's a good, yeah, it's a good white flight kind of thing. How would highways contribute to social conformity?
They could all,
No,
they
I
can
don't-
move.
highways are
freely.
military, right?
Yeah, highway. Well, it was done for military purposes
Yeah.
because of evacuation. However, you could say that like you could go from place to place.
I remember in the book
and being
it
the
had,
same.
Something about like conforming the highways, but also like with like McDonald's and like
Okay.
making everyone like sort of the same.
Yeah, that good point. Yeah, that's fast food. The rise of fast food in the 50s. It's A, convenience. B, it's conformity. Good point. Good point. All right. How about rock and roll and the baby boom? Those two things don't necessarily go together, but could be. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Okay. That's pretty much everything I got under 50s. Did anybody get anything else under society and culture, or any of these other guys? These other areas?
Did you put McCarthyism?
Oh, good point. McCarthyism. Yes, that's kind of important. Where are we going to put that? I'm going to put that under domestic. Good point. The rise of Senator Joseph McCarthy and the witch hunt against communists, which means that what important book was written that was sort of like a parable? Crucible, good.
Although it's not quite the same.
No, it really isn't.
Such thing as witches.
Because witches weren't in America.
I
Yeah.
Allegedly,
Okay.
because I do.
Because, I don't know, maybe.
She's okay.
What are you going to do? All right, let's move on into JFK. Fortunately, he's only there for 3 years, so there's not that much. Actually, there's a lot. Never mind. Yeah. Thank God. All right, for JFK, let's go with domestic policy for JFK.
Let's check it.
Okay. All right, good. New Frontier. All right, New Frontier is, again, that's his domestic program where he was going to try and sort of push civil rights legislation. Congress wasn't buying it until what?
He died.
He died. Good. It gets resurrected as what?
Great Society.
Great Society. Good. Again, most of it actually happened under the Great Society. Okay. So let's go. Oh, you know what? Speaking of election, the election of 1960. Why is that important?
TV.
It's the first time you get the TV debates.
Nixon was sweaty and he didn't know how to put on makeup, so he.
Sweaty and no makeup means losing the election. All right, so yeah, he didn't look as presidential. Once again, this is the one that if you listened to it, you thought Nixon won, but if you watched it, you thought Kennedy won. Let's go with, gosh, again, he's not there for very long. 23rd Amendment's passed.
Warren Commission.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's make sure that we get his assassination. 23rd Amendment basically says that Washington, D.C. Gets the right to vote.
Cool.
That's it. Okay, yeah. Let's go with his assassination. And the Warren Commission said what?
It was a lone job.
Yeah, we promised. It was only one lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald. What happens to Oswald?
Someone shoots him, he
He gets
gets
killed by a mob.
assassinated.
He gets killed by Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner.
Yeah.
also having ties to the mob. So many hmms. Okay. Okay, for foreign policy is, what's the buzzword? Flexible response. Meaning what?
Military strategies and nuclear weapon.
Okay. Okay, good. You can use other things other than nuclear weapons. There's other ways to solve problems, things like diplomacy. So again, we don't have to jump right into the nuclear solution, which is kind of a going back on Eisenhower's massive retaliation idea. Let's see. What else?
I too am a jelly donut.
Ah, the Berlin Wall. Berlin Wall
Oh, I thought we were.
/ jelly donut. We all know that affair. Okay.
Did the Berlin Wall go up that year, or?
Berlin Wall, yeah, it went up in 1960, what is it, 2, I think? Or 1. No, it's pretty early, so it's got to be 1961. And basically he didn't do anything about it. Things that make JFK look weak to the Soviets, here, things that make JFK look weak. All right, that's what I'm going to put the heading here. All right, number 1 is the Berlin Wall goes up. It's calling himself a jelly donut doesn't make him look weak. It's just funny. However, the fact that he didn't do anything about it, that kind of makes him look a little bit like a pushover. He's also really young. He's the first Catholic to be elected.
He's pretty.
He's a pretty boy. Yep. All right, so there's that. And then the other thing that makes him look bad is what?
Cuba.
Cuban Missile Crisis. No. Bay of Pigs. Cuba, Bay of Pigs. Sorry, guys. And again, that's where we sent over a bunch of Cuban exiles that had fled the country when Batista took over. No, when Castro took over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it again. Batista taking over Batista. When Castro took over in the Cuban Revolution, there was a bunch of Cubans that fled. We took those Cuban refugees, we trained them by the CIA, then stuck them back in Cuba, expecting there to be a huge revolution, but we forgot to tell the Cubans, so it was a massive disaster. Had to ransom the guys back. Okay. We can go with the space race.
That didn't make him weak.
No, we're different heading now.
Oh, okay.
Space race, again, he's the one that challenges us to put a person on the moon by the end of the century, which we do. No, by the end of the decade. Different thing, which we still do. Again, 1969 is the moon landing. So that's an important thing. As far as, let's see, what else is a big issue here? Oh, Vietnam. Duh. What does Kennedy do regarding Vietnam? Not troops yet. Advisors, good. It's money and military advisors. We're basically doing for Vietnam what we did with China. And it worked about as well. It's actually worse. Money and military advisors. Again, this is where we have Dien's assassination. Ngoc Diem was whom?
The leader of
South Vietnamese leader.
The one who was persecuting Buddhists.
Yeah, the guy that was persecuting a bunch of
Everyone
Buddhist
was
monks.
Catholic.
So this is when assassination of Diem, which we may or may not have had a hand in. Probably we did.
Wait, was he Catholic because of the French that were there?
Yeah, that's when he first received his first, Catholic education. But I think he was also educated abroad too. Okay. Oh, Peace Corps. Can't forget that. Peace Corps. P-E-A-C-E. There we go.
No.
All right, Peace Corps. You might want to go ahead and say that he did increase military spending. We've got that he wanted to decrease the missile gap. Because again, we thought we didn't have as many missiles as Soviets. Little did we know we did. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's all I got for that. For civil rights, okay. Again, you've already got it started under the Eisenhower administration. Pardon?
I mean, there was something in 62.
Pardon me?
They were sending a pen
Yeah, they were trying to get JFK to sign what?
Civil rights.
Yeah, it's an earlier version of the Civil Rights Act, but he wasn't signing the Civil Rights Act just because it was controversial. I think if he lived, he probably would have, because we know he's pro-civil rights. Again, this is the guy that James Meredith was trying to integrate Ole Miss University, and Ole Miss was blocking it, and so he sent in federal marshals to help James Meredith. So I'm going to put that there. Sent in federal marshals. Nope, that's wrong column, King. Federal marshals to help James Meredith. And again, that's Ole Miss University. Ironically, I think he was trying to take like a Southern history class.
Tell James what?
To help James Meredith. And again, that's Ole Miss University. Okay. You might want to go ahead and say that this is the Freedom Riders. I think that's 1961. So you remember that's the thing with the buses. So we've got the letter from a Birmingham jail. Birmingham campaign is both kind of, it's Kennedy and kind of goes into Johnson too. So I'm going to go and say the start of the Birmingham campaign. It's also under Johnson. And I would definitely know the letter from a Birmingham jail. What is what?
It's a 30-page thing for the
Okay.
You can't slow down, we have to integrate now.
Yeah, we got to go ahead and integrate now. It's his response to white leaders who were saying, look, you're doing this too quickly. And he said, well, if not now, when? Okay, so, yeah, that's an important thing. March on Washington. I have a dream speech. March on Washington. I'm pretty sure that's 63. Oh, speaking of the Southern backlash, I'm pretty sure this is when, Wallace does his whole segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. Wallace, segregation, always. Again, Wallace did later say, I'm sorry about that. Oops, my bad.
You did?
He did go back and recant. Because again, he's on tape saying, I'm going to support segregation forever and ever and ever.
I mean, what else could he do?
Yeah.
Let's be consistent, right?
Well, he's a politician. Are they ever?
Hey, Trump is except for when he's arguing.
Right. Okay, are we okay on civil rights under Kennedy? Because let's move real quick into society and culture. Silent Spring is 1962. I actually, in the other one, I actually put Silent Spring with Nixon because Silent Spring is one of the things that really kind of jumpstarts the EPA, the environmental movement. So, but it is published under Kennedy. You might also want to go with, the book that really influenced their policies about saying that everybody is, they're more than a quarter of the nation's impoverished. The Other America, good. Other America by that guy whose name is, doesn't matter. It's Harrington, Michael Harrington.
Is it good that we know these authors who wrote these books?
I'm sorry?
Is it good that we know these authors who wrote these
Yeah, because I'm thinking if on the AP exam they give you a passage and they give you the, if they give you a passage on a stimulus-based multiple choice question and they give you the guy's name, if it's Michael Harrington, you don't really have to read the passage. You know who that guy is, what he wrote. You can skim through the passage, but you probably are going to be able to figure out the answer to the question without having read it. That's why I'm making note of just a ton of authors.
Wait, so who wrote Silent Spring?
Rachel Carson. Thank you.
Carson?
Uh-huh. Carson. Okay. The Sexual Revolution was written in 53, I think. So that's actually earlier than this. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and put it here because it started early hippies. Sexual Revolution. Do you remember what that was? Yeah, adultery, premarital sex, homosexuality, more so than people thought. And again, he wasn't saying that's good or bad. He was just saying that it's there. What's the guy's name?
The homosexuals.
Kinsey. Thank you, Alfred Kinsey. Alfred Kinsey. Okay. Oh, Feminine Mystique is written in 63. What's that?
Women should have the option to go to work if they want to.
Correct.
Pretty much.
All right, who is that? Friedan. Good, Betty Friedan. Let's see. Oh yeah, now, dummy, King, you gotta remember this. Okay, NOW. Formed by Friedan and Steinem. Good. By Friedan and Steinem. Good job. There we go. Friedan and Steinem. Technically it starts in 72, so that would be an excellent thing.
Okay.
Who wrote the Sexual Revolution?
Kinsey. Alfred Kinsey.
Okay.
His Sexual Revolution. Alright. Okay. Anything else under Kennedy that I'm forgetting, guys? Did I not say that? Oh my gosh, I didn't say Cuban Missile Crisis. That's kind of an important thing.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it happened.
You're going to
Cuban
the Pacific pigs and be like, yeah, they-
Missile Crisis. Yeah, I know, I started saying it, and then, yeah.
Sorry.
Alright, Cuban Missile Crisis, which is definitely your best example of brinkmanship. Who was the Soviet premier during the Cuban Missile Crisis? Khrushchev, good. I would think that would be like a really good thing to do like a cartoon about. Because Khrushchev is pretty recognizable, and Kennedy is obviously pretty recognizable. So, like, that would be a good one if I were to...
He's got the ball and he's got a squash on his head.
Yeah. No, that's the guy with the thing on
wait,
his
no,
head is
that's
Gorbachev.
my bad.
Gorbachev, yeah. Bald guy, big forehead. That's Khrushchev.
I'll make about this.
Huh?
I'll make about this.
No, I'm just saying that would be like a good political cartoon. If I were writing the test, that would be a good one to do a political cartoon on. Because again, Kennedy's so easily to recognize. Okay, we're gonna call it a day on Kennedy. Guys, I pretty much need to go because it's 4:30. However, I will say that on the first session, what I did is I started from the back and I worked front. So the first section I covered Bush, Clinton, H.W., Reagan. I actually covered up through Johnson on the first section. So if you want to watch the other film will help you fill in Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, everything else. Okay? Huh?
Okay, so we can just find somewhere in the period then. I mean, she's gonna post it.
Yeah, well, I don't have a 7th grade class.
Right.
So it was, but if you want to find somebody who was here, yeah, you can. Uh-huh.
What is this society